and welcome to our Y&R Chat for Sunday, November 17th, 2024. This week had everything! Everything! A wedding, a confession, a cliffhanger, a shocker, a crash, a fire, everything! Wow! I am impressed. I feel proud to be a Y&R fan this week. I mean, it felt like the good old days. I actually had a thought of like, whoa, is it a sweeps month? What, November? Is it November sweeps? It's been forever since I've had any awareness of Y&R ratcheting it up to get some ratings, or like it just felt big. It just felt like so much resource, so much energy just went into this week. And it was amazing! And I had no idea that most of it was coming. I really thought that Abby and Devon were going to be the biggest part of the week. But I have got to hand it to the Sharon storyline, which is becoming one of the best storylines. I mean, certainly I think this is the best storyline of the year. The second that the ceremony was over, Sharon and Phyllis crashed the wedding. Literally! It was like, you may now kiss the bride. Crash, boom, kapow. Incredible. Phyllis had received a mysterious text message from Sharon's phone saying, "I'm ready to confess. Meet me at my house and I'll tell you everything." Suspicious, of course. Why would Sharon confess to Phyllis, of all people, and not to the cops? But okay, Phyllis took the bait. And so Sharon and Phyllis are on the road at the same time, heading out to the ranch, and then something happened. They both crashed, but not into each other, which was strange. The two cars were far enough apart that it wasn't even immediately obvious that they were involved in the same crash. Sharon seemed to just sort of bump into a fence or something and then the car wouldn't start, whereas Phyllis hit a tree and the whole car burst into flames. What exciting action we had there. Did you see that beautiful set? I mean, it was just so visually gorgeous. Phyllis's car in flames set to the backdrop of all of that gorgeous fall foliage. I was like, wow, this is outstanding. And we had a rescue. Thank goodness that Nick was there, able to rush out and rescue Phyllis. He smashed through the car window with a nearby rock, and he dragged Phyllis's unconscious body out of the car, saving her life. I'm so grateful for Nick. Wow. He saved her life. I'm sure she'll be able to come up with a couple of different ways to thank him. I'm sure she could think of something slinky. That is when she wakes up, because Phyllis is rushed off to the hospital, and that's where she still is right now, frozen in time over the weekend, unconscious in next week's previews too, with Elena by her side coming in to give the prognosis. And I kind of wonder if Nate's brother is going to show up at the hospital and whip around the corner and become her doctor as another surprise. Sharon bumbled home, just as confused as I was about the whole thing. She was not sure if she did this on purpose. Was this part of her plan? Well, it must have been. She killed Heather. She must have been planning to kill Phyllis too, even though she blacked out and didn't remember anything. That's her second blackout, by the way, not remembering anything. But I was convinced at first because Cameron had made a reappearance this week, and he told her that Phyllis needed to be taken care of, and so I just assumed that this was one more step in Sharon's conscious plan. But then, shocker of all shockers, Sharon finds her phone at home, which means that she couldn't have sent those text messages to Phyllis. And then we flash into a scene of a shadowy figure walking into a motel room, and surprise, it's Jordan, but double surprise, it's also Ian Ward. This is insane in the best of possible ways. I never would have dreamt it. Two of Y&R's most notorious all-time evil villains together in one dingy hotel room? Lord save us now. We are in for it. Oh my gosh. Now that was a good secret kept under wraps. I would have been like, if it was just Aunt Jordan, but the fact that Ray Weiss is back as Ian Ward, I mean, I saw a couple comments this week of folks not recognizing Ian Ward, and I should maybe have come up with something to inform you about who he is, but I did not do that, so I will just tell you that you are in for a treat. He really, he is so sadistic in the most delightful of ways. And I think you're really going to enjoy it if you haven't had the pleasure of seeing Ray Weiss do what he does as Ian Ward. I mean, Ray Weiss doing what he does, if you're a fan of, obviously, the Twin Peaks series from back in the 90s, he was kind of the star of that show, and he really has the whole creepy, evil thing down, and I cannot believe we're lucky enough to experience it on Y&R right now. I mean, I really did not see that coming. Of all things, I did not see Ian Ward coming, and I was genuinely shocked. As I'm sure all of you were too. That was just like, is this happening? It's happening. And it's just in time, too. Now the villains have arrived. So it's time to wash away the suspicion from our heroine, Sharon. Right? They're here just in time to save Sharon. I am betting that Jordan and or Ian showed up during Sharon's blackout. Who knows, maybe initiated Sharon's blackout. Both of Sharon's blackouts. I am betting that Ian and or Jordan murdered Heather and made Sharon think that she did it. Why? I don't know. I have no idea what the motive would be. Who knows? I mean, Heather was a DA. Maybe Heather was the DA that got one or both of them convicted. I don't know. Does it really matter? The plot has arrived. and timed so serendipitously for Sharon's confession to Nick. Sharon's full confession to Nick. She told him everything. I mean, in such explicit detail that Nick looked at a couple of points like he was going to be physically sick. Sharon's descent into murder madness has been so complicated and so deep that honestly, I completely forgot that she was trying to kill Daniel in the first place. And Heather's death was just a side effect. And now Sharon thinks that she tried to kill Phyllis too, and it has all just become too much for her. So she sat Nick down on the couch and confessed to him the whole story. Phyllis was right, she said. I was trying to get justice for my child, and I should have known that she would try to get justice for hers. Ugh, that was so good. And at the end, at the very, very end, as Nick is kind of wobbling around the living room in disbelief, trying to process everything that Sharon has just told him, Sharon says to him, Nick, is it time to call Chance now? What is Nick gonna say? What is Nick's response gonna be? Because obviously he is not going to be able to choose to protect Sharon and just let Daniel rot for this. Nick has to march Sharon right down to the police station or call Chance over or whatever. Nick has to be the one to go to the police about this because Chance is certainly never going to figure it out on his own. Even though so much else has happened this week, I just don't want to not say what a wonderful coincidence that the housekeeper just so happened to leave the supply cart with Phyllis's room key on it right outside of Phyllis's hotel room door. What are the odds of that? And what exactly was Sharon's plan if there hadn't been a magical supply cart with the key on it right there outside of Phyllis's door? What was Sharon gonna do? What was her plan? Was she just gonna beat the door down? That's my question. Unbelievable. But perhaps the more unbelievable thing is that Sharon broke into Phyllis's room looking for evidence, looking for the evidence that Phyllis said she had against her. Phyllis caught Sharon red-handed, called the cops, and in the end, Phyllis was the one getting the slap on the wrist? Is that insane or what? Somebody breaks into your room, and not only do they not get in trouble, but everyone is looking at you like, come on, why are you making such a big deal over this? That's absurd. Clearly, Chance still has Sharon's sex magic or something spell all over him. I don't know, because Chance just let Sharon skate away saying, "Aww, poor Sharon. Can you believe Phyllis is coming for her like that? Well, Sharon, you just better stay out of Phyllis's way then." I mean, For all the times that Phyllis's relentlessness has actually been misplaced, this is the time where it's like, oh wow, she's actually the only person who's able to see this whole situation clearly, and while everybody else is walking around blind. Well, I did appreciate that Phyllis actually did have the opportunity to press charges against Sharon for breaking in, but Phyllis said, no, I don't want her to go to jail for breaking in. I want her to go to jail for murder. So I'll wait. So all of that happened outside of the wedding ceremony. Let's go inside the house. It's really striking how much that wedding was about more than Abby and Devon. It was about so much more than Abby and Devon. I mean, the ceremony was nice, of course. It was short, and honestly, I really appreciated that. There were no speeches. I'm so over all of the wedding speeches. I was like kind of dreading. I thought like, how is it going to be all speeches? I mean, I'm blown away because honestly, I sat down to watch the show thinking I was going to have to sit through speeches. And I was sort of like, And boy, did Y&R not get, they really bucked my expectation. Not a speech in sight. In fact, instead there were incredible twists and turns and even flames. But the ceremony itself, I just appreciated that it was very brief. It was very nice. It was very heartfelt and meaningful, but it was like, kiss the bride and then let's move on to the drama. Thank you. Y&R knows what we want. And did you notice how Victor warned Billy to not cause any drama at his niece's wedding? But then the second that ceremony was over, Victor was in every single corner of that room causing drama. I mean, he lit the match on like 3 different dramas. He was up in Billy and Jill's argument. He was telling Diane that she can run Glissade if she fires Kyle. And then he was like craning his neck out the door to try to figure out what the drama was that was going on outside. I mean, I'm telling you, Victor is the ultimate drama queen. He loves it. I really especially enjoyed the drama around Jill this week. And I'm kind of wondering, as a poll question for the week, if you guys feel that Jill made the right choice to sell Abbott Chancellor to Victor. I mean, you know, I think you should go to yrchat.com and vote on that and leave some comments as to why you think she did the right thing or did the wrong thing. Because I think she did the right thing. And I want to be mad, but I want to be mad at her. That's the thing. I want to be mad at her for ripping the rug out from underneath of Billy. But I just, more than that, feel very relieved from a storyline perspective. That the companies, if we're going to use it, if we're going to have it be part of the plot, that it's going to be in the hands of somebody who's there. You know, and I think Jill was ready to be done with it, and I get that. You know, she's not around to keep an eye on things, and it's too much for her to handle to do it from long distance. I mean, Victor offered her an exorbitant amount of money, over market value, he said, and of course I do love the whole like writing the number on a piece of paper and then sliding it across the desk trick. And yeah, it did the trick. Because Jill decided to sell. She decided to sell. Even though Billy actually just finished complying with all of her wishes. He fired Phyllis. He was able to convince Lily to come back, which was the harder task. And which really makes it a double slap in the face to Billy. I did what you asked and you still took the company from me, and not only that, but you gave it to Victor of all people. You let Victor win. Billy is definitely going to be working on some form of revenge. He is not happy. He feels like he is done with his mom, and he is ready to do something to Victor, I guess. You know, I think Y&R did a really good job of making that decision hurt. You know, I felt that. I felt those moments at the wedding when she told him, son, I am sorry, but you are not ready. And then he had this moment where he grabbed her face, kind of leaned in really close and grabbed her face, and then she grabbed his face back, touched his face back, and then he just walked out the door with Victoria rushing after him. So I'm assuming that Victoria is somehow going to be involved in whatever his fallout will be. But then later, Jill explained her decision to Lily, and you know, she said, my health is not good. I feel like my body is betraying me. The company drama is having a negative impact on my health. And then she just said to Lily very simply, Lily, let it go. Let me have some peace. And I thought that that was very impactful. I mean, the bottom line is this company had become a problem for her, and Jill didn't trust Billy to secure it. That's it. She didn't trust Billy to secure the company, even with Lily by his side. Was she right? I don't know. Maybe. That's why I want to see those poll questions. I mean, I guess I think Jill was feeling the weight of not only her legacy, but of Catherine's too. So, as soon as the wedding ceremony was over, Victor scurried on over into a corner with Diane, and he told her that she can have glissade if she fires Kyle tonight. Not tomorrow, tonight. As in, right now. As in, give this wedding some drama. Ooh. Who knew the Abbotts were going to bring the drama to this Newman Ranch event? Diane did indeed do the deed. She fired her son for the second time, right there, in front of everyone, champagne glasses in hand. And then as soon as it was done, sure enough, Jack and Diane huddled up together, revealed to the audience that their breakup was all a ruse. Thank goodness. Thank goodness. Kyle didn't see that, though, at first. He rushed out of there. They had to follow him home to bring him up to speed. And that's where we left off on Friday. I mean, good luck explaining it to him, Mom and Dad. I'm sure he'll understand. Not. I mean, Diane fired Kyle from Jabot. And now she just managed to somehow fire him from his new job, too, at a company that she doesn't own. But apparently on Monday, Victor is saying he will sign Glissade over to Diane. I thought the idea was that she just wanted to run it, not buy it. But I guess if Glissade is for sale, then I don't know if I think Diane will buy it. I don't think Diane and Jack are going to want to buy it. I think Audra will want to buy it. I mean, I bet she saw all kinds of beautiful colors in that wedding bouquet that she caught, and she could turn any one of those colors into some beautiful eyeshadows. Oh, the new ranch was flooded with flowers on wedding day. Nikki was frantically pacing around like, do we need more flowers? Do we need more candles? Do we need more flowers? No, we don't need any more flowers. If we had any more flowers, the bees would be buzzing in. Let's pause. It was so beautiful. The flowers and the candles. And speaking of candles, I loved the way that the candles were stacked on the steps of our famous staircase. On the day of the wedding, I said to myself, I bet Abby's going to come down that staircase. Because then I'm running scenarios in my head. Like, is she going to come down the staircase or is she going to come down around that mystery corner that used to be the ranch door? Sure enough, she came down the staircase. I loved it. I loved those vintage chairs that they had all of the guests sitting in. I mean, it was like, thank you for that little touch, because it wasn't traditional, just, you know, those white chairs with the flowy thing and the ribbon on the back. Like, no, these looked like old chairs. I mean, I don't know if they were chairs, but they looked used, and I said yes. I was also, by the way, happy to see that the piano was getting used. Anna played the piano at the wedding, and also Nikki played a classic Y&R background song for Victor early in the week. I don't know the title of the song, but I feel like that song's on the Young and the Restless CD that I have up here behind my shoulder. It felt like one of the classics. Like, I recognized it, but I couldn't place a title. Gorgeous. Gorgeous set. I actually just have one more note of appreciation for that set. I really enjoyed seeing all of the beautiful fall leaves outside of the beautiful windows. I really think that we're going to be able to look forward to how the seasons will change with this set. I mean, that's going to be something that can be mixed up with every season. Oh, and now we have a front door step. So, okay, even though the door is in a new location and it's still not, that's the one thing, but okay, we do have a front door step, which means we get a nice wreath. It's going to take some getting used to, but it will be nice to be able to get a full view of the guests as they walk in the door, as they come in and out, and, you know, and seeing how that area is appropriately decorated for the season. I'm happy. But, you know, it did occur to me this week that there is one crucial thing that is missing from the new ranch, and it can never be recreated, and it can never be replaced. It's my man, Miguel. I mean, really? Miguel is what's missing from the ranch. Could he not at least have been invited for a special viewing? Or why not come and work? Just work one day for old time's sake, Miguel. I mean, you know Miguel would have had a plate of appetizers set out special for Jill to tell Esther to choke on. Let's talk wedding fashion. Yay! Well, let me tell you first off, it's going to be real hard for anybody to compete with Boobalicious Audra in that floor-length, velvety, pinky, reddish gown. When she walked through the door, I literally said out loud to my screen, well, I'm going to have to pick a second place winner for Best Dressed too, because there ain't nobody who is going to be able to compete with that. She was so freaking stunning, I had to catch my breath. So in fairness to the other competitors, I'm going to pick a second best dressed. And that's going to have to be Ashley. I feel like this is probably going to be an unpopular pick, but I am a sucker for gold and champagne and silver, and Ashley just looked like a tanned goddess in all of that metallic. She was looking healthy and just glowing. She was looking glowing as the mother of the bride. And, you know, I have to say, the father of the bride, Victor, looked really especially dashing when he put on that coat, his full-length coat over his tuxedo, and he went out to society to see Jill right before the wedding. Like, he just looked like he was headed out to a night at the opera, and I just appreciated how expensive and luxurious he looked in that overcoat. It just looked nice. Nice. Crisp, clean, classic. Jack kind of surprised me with his gray tuxedo. I appreciate a little offbeatness. Devon actually had a gray tuxedo also, but it was two-tone. It was a gray jacket, but then it had a black collar, and I'm not sure exactly how I felt about that, but at least none of the men looked like theater ushers. You know, other than that, nobody else really blew me away. I did think Nikki looked really pretty in the navy blue dress with the diamondy looking cherry blossoms on the stole. You know, worst dressed? I don't know. Victoria and Lily both wore lavender, that's puzzling to me, because Y&R has been doing this, kind of a continuing trend. With lavender formal wear in the fall. I don't know, lavender just seems more of a summery color to me. I thought that the cut of Lily's dress was really gorgeous. It had a romantic sort of Renaissance feel, and that was, you know, really perfect for a wedding. But, you know, the cut of Victoria's dress was confusing to me. It was a ton of fabric crisscrossed onto the front, and I felt like the diamondy backstraps and belt thing were kind of mismatched with all of this puffy fabric. I don't know. Yeah, I guess if I have to pick somebody, I would say that Victoria is my worst dress, but it was slim pickings. I guess any other complaints I have would just be seasonal, because, I mean, Summer's dress was stunning, and gosh, she just looked so beautiful, but that pool blue, again, too summery for November. Don't mind me on my soapbox. But, you know, and because if that's the worst I can say, then still doing pretty good. But another notable color was Anna. Oh, she was very pretty in pumpkin, right? That's very fall appropriate. Pumpkin. Plus, any color would go with her gorgeous smile. It was just like, her smile is just like lighting up the room. And I did also think that Harmony was very good in the metallic bronze color. You know, she looked good in metallic. She looks fun. I have to say, Harmony looks like she could have some fun. I approve. She was a little more relaxed, and she wasn't stiff, you know. She came off as warm and fun. Well, also speaking of fall colors, dark green. Diane and Claire and Jill all chose dark green. That must be the color of the night. Most people were in that. Diane's dress looked like it was fastened together with a barrette. I thought that was weird. And what did you guys think of Jill's hair? Because when she stopped by the office to crush Billy's dreams just prior to the wedding, the hair looked really blown back. I mean, she looked exactly like the 80s version of herself. And I thought, that's really cool. She looks so retro right now, especially since the dress was very blingy, the hair was blown back. I thought, oh, I love this. But then when she showed up at the ranch, the hair had flattened out a little bit. They didn't have enough hairspray on it. We have not learned. If you're going to do an 80s retro look, I guess you got to really put the Aquanet in it. Because when she showed up at the ranch, it was a little more flattened, a little less retro. But I did notice that she looked really trim. She had a nice, her waist looked real little. She looked like maybe she had lost weight. I don't know. She should have lost the necklace, I have to say. It was like half diamond, half brass. Like, that necklace did not know what it wanted to be. So maybe I need to change my vote. Jill's necklace was the worst dressed at the wedding. Now, saving the bride for last. And thank you for sitting with me through these comments. I have to get it all off my chest. Spent a lot of time looking at these clothes. Abby did look stunning, even in her robe, which I thought was really funny when Victor came into her dressing room before the ceremony and he wasn't sure if the robe was the dress. I thought that was charming. Just like, is this the dress? I don't know the fashion trends. And she said, no, Dad, this is just my robe. That was such a cute moment. And even in the robe, she looked beautiful. But the dress, okay, the dress, well, I mean, it was white, it was silver, it was slinky, it was sparkly. I don't know what anyone else could ask for. She really looked like Ashley's daughter in it. There was no doubt about that. I mean, did you see the back on that dress? Like, the back on the wedding dress, especially when they did that long shot up toward the altar, the back of the wedding dress was like all the way almost down to her tailbone. I was like, dang. She must have had to do some extra gym time knowing that was coming. You gotta be committed to have a nice back for that dress. I did laugh a little bit, though, because I felt like the neck and the sleeve, like it was a sleeve that turned into a neck and a neck that turned into a sleeve. It looked like a swatch of white Christmas garland or something. Like, you know, that garland that you hang around the tree? It was just a white, like, tinsel-y, not exactly tinsel, but garland that you hang around the tree. The neck of the dress was made of that. I guess Sally had to go to Hobby Lobby. She didn't have enough time to order the finest fabrics from France. She went down to Hobby Lobby, picked up some Christmas garland. Tacked that on there. But that brings me to my one and only complaint. Why wasn't Sally at the wedding? Why didn't we even get to see her show up to deliver the dress that she worked so tirelessly in record time to create? I mean, not only that, but she could have also been Billy's date. What? Sally belonged there. Sally belonged at that wedding. And yeah, she met up with Billy afterwards, but to me, that's just more evidence that Sally Spectra is such an afterthought on Y&R. And if Y&R can't get her right, then you know what? Send her back to Bold and the Beautiful, and I'll start watching Bold and the Beautiful again. Oh, pish posh. Pish posh. Who said that? Who is snobby and uncool enough to say, oh, pish posh. Nikki. Could not believe when that phrase came out of her mouth last week. I was like, pish posh? Dang, that's uncool. Well, I'm surprised that more of you guys didn't guess it correctly, but I have to say congrats to Ron, Paris, Michelle, Tommy, Brittany, good old Marky, Kamna, and Gary. You guys all got that one right. How about this? Who said this? Sometimes in life, chances just dry up. Sometimes in life, chances just dry up. Who said it? If you think you know, you should go to yrchat.com to leave your guess. And if you get it right, I will give you your shout out during next week's Y&R Chat. 13,000 episodes. Incredible. Incredible. And that must have been a very incredible birthday gift for you, Ambrini. November 20th is your birthday. Y&R has certainly gifted you with some exciting viewing material. Happy birthday, Ambrini. I hope you are enjoying the show right now. Connie says 13,000 episodes, and this did not disappoint. However, I think the ranch unveiling was better. I always love the wedding vibes and the best dressed going to the ranch. Wow. Oh, the best dressed goes to the ranch. Oh, yes, yes. Wow. Connie says the flowers were absolutely gorgeous and the star of the day and made every scene eye-catching, especially the staircase for the bride reveal. They even closed the ceremony with that pretty picture of a door wreath. I wonder how long they kept all those flowers fresh for multiple days of shooting. Even those fancy gray chairs added elegance to the ranch, to the wedding transformation. Every gown was beyond beautiful, with one exception. Why do they dress Claire so frumpy? Her dress did improve when she removed that shawl we first saw her in. Jill won for best jewelry, and big earrings were everywhere. Audra had the best red carpet walk, and poor Summer got squeezed with no real view of her dress. Abby's dress was fabulous with that unique neckline and classic halter that she rocked. The men didn't disappoint either, and I thought that Jack was the best dressed for me, although Victor nailed the traditional look and the perfect pairing with Ashley in her classic gown. Loved their family wedding scene on the staircase and the walk to the altar. Devon's suit was youthful, but that almost invisible tie has got to go because it ruined his cool vibe. The wedding was a perfect day at the ranch and a great day for viewers and cast to celebrate. Congratulations to the Y&R cast for excellence in programming. Thank you for the fabulous show that we love. Yes, and I love this comment, Connie. Thank you. That was beautifully written, and you hit all the points. Boy, it's so funny because you love Jill's necklace. Which I was just like, and then you like the tinsel on, you like the garland on Abby's dress. I mean, it was notable. That was the part of the dress that I was like, wow, halter's the word I was looking for that I couldn't find, so that's really good. But yeah, it's just so interesting that we're all watching these, and fashion is so subjective. But I mean, how do you argue with how beautiful the ranch was? I think you're right, Connie. The ranch was the best dressed. And I was wondering about those flowers too. Are they real? Because I always thought for sure all the flowers were real on Y&R, and then one day it occurred to me that maybe they're not real, and that's how they get away with it. I mean, do you really think they're all fresh flowers? If so, I cannot imagine what that budget was, because flowers are not cheap. But gorgeous, just absolutely gorgeous. Maybe someone donated them or something. Maybe they get, like, you know, a kickback for an advertisement or something, like, you furnish the flowers for our set and we will advertise your flower shop. I don't know. CBS probably has some kind of relationship somewhere, you know, to get them a deal. That's so me. I'm so cheap. I'm like, I don't know if I can afford all these flowers. But in a fantasy land, I sure did enjoy it. Gary says the green getup that Jill is wearing to the wedding for the happy couple looks like something Brenda Dixon plucked from her own personal wardrobe to bring to Y&R for Jill to go to the supermarket in. The producers were left helpless as the actress insisted on having her way. Yeah, the dress was very, it was very 80s. There was something very retro about it. Maybe it was all the bling. But Diana says Jill's dress was nice. It did not need the necklace. The necklace looked gaudy. So here we have our differing opinions. And also, Diana says Victoria's dress was so pretty. It was one of the prettiest dresses I have seen. I loved the pretty lilac color, and I really like the style of the front of it as well as the back. Victoria also says, my favorite is between Victoria's lavender dress and Abby's bridal gown. She looked so regal and so beautiful. Well, that is gorgeous. I love it. I actually just really love that we can look at the same thing and it's just like, oh, that's my style, but oh, that's not my style. And that's what style is. And that's why best and worst dress for Y&R events always make for good chatter. So if you haven't gotten your comments in about them outfits yet, you got to go to yrchat.com this weekend. Do that. Now, last week I asked you guys if the new ranch was a hit or a miss, and wow, 93% of you love the new ranch, say it's a hit. Marianne V says, I like seeing the old ranch back. It was beautiful. It was nice for Abby and Devon to have their wedding there, but I didn't think it deserved an entire episode dedicated to the new old ranch. Oh, okay, so you liked the ranch itself but didn't need the flashbacks. Russell says, I love the new old ranch. I think they put the door on the right side because it's a different house. It's not exactly the same. Nikki mentioned it was like the old house, but updated. I know. It's not the same. It's not meant to be the same. It's meant to be a spin. It's just... There's something about the illusion. I kind of want the illusion still. And the door thing really, it prevents me from the full illusion. And maybe that's a good thing. Well, Diana says, was anyone else expecting to see Miguel come walking into the new ranch house? I thought of him immediately when Victor first brought Nikki to the new old ranch. I still associate him with that house. I guess he isn't needed, as Nikki and Victor now have cook to prepare the meals for them. I don't know what happened to him either. Maybe he secretly loved Nikki like Miguel did and decided to leave town. You know, what did happen to Miguel? That's a really good question, because I kind of think that he he just sort of quietly disappeared. He really would have been a great match for Esther. Why not bring Miguel back after all these years and make him a match for Esther? But yeah, that occurred to me separately also this week. Like, oh, you know what's missing? It's Miguel, especially at the party when Esther asked for the appetizers. Well, oh, big debate from last week, and this is actually my favorite conversation of the whole week too, is the in quotes, what I called last week, the atrium. What do we call that place? And here is the debate. Lara says the small room off the living room is called a conservatory. Here's the definition. A room with a glass roof and walls attached to a house at one side and used as a sun parlor. Useful for intimate conversations and possibly murders. I love conservatory, or if I'm feeling more British, I could say conservatory. Let's retire to the conservatory. It reminds me of Clue, right? I think that's the most famous example of a conservatory is in the Clue mansion. But I would feel like such a hoity-toity McSchmoidletons if I was saying conservatory week after week. I don't know if I can bring myself to say it. Kyle says, I think that area to the left would be called a solarium or a conservatory. Solarium. I mean, that sounds beautiful, but again, that's so upscale. I don't know if I can make myself say, I've never heard solarium before. I mean, I love it. I love conservatory. I love solarium. I don't know. Let's see what else. Dolores says that room's too small to be a conservatory. It's more of an alcove, as I saw Victor, Nick, Adam talking within sight of the rest of the people in the area. There was no features resembling a glass room or roofing. So as I stated, I think alcove fits more for this small room. Yeah, it's small, right? But alcove doesn't really capture like the amount of sun, right? I feel like sun needs to be in there. T. Nicole says, I'm glad the chatters know what the correct name for the room is. I was going to suggest the sunlight room because of all the glass windows. I guess that doesn't fit though if it's raining or clouding, or I guess that's why people also do call it a sunroom. Yeah, I mean, I see, I have a sunroom, and I still call it a sunroom even if it's cloudy. But it's just like maybe Victor and Nikki's sunroom is much more grand than mine, and so I think, well, it can't really be a sunroom if I've got one. But Connie says if it has a glass roof, it could be a solarium or sun parlor or sunroom. Well, I mean, I guess there is some sort of illusion of an upper area that has glass. I don't know if it's a ceiling per se, but it definitely, there's some height to it, the illusion or of some height to it. I really wish that we could somehow, I want to know what Y&R calls that area. I wish we could talk to the set designer or something and they could just tell us. But I guess, I mean, that's so hard. It's I think I'm just gonna call it sunroom. I think I'll just call it the sunroom because it's gonna be easy to say. I don't have to make a big deal out of the room itself, even though I want to. So let's go with that officially. Unless somebody from Y&R can contact and tell us what you're calling that internally. So hear ye. Until further notice, I shall call that room the sunroom. One more note about the new ranch. I this week actually went back to find the Y&R chat for the week that the ranch burnt down. I was like, I gotta know what I said when the ranch burnt down. What was the vibe of it? How did I feel about it at the time? I bet that's a really good Y&R chat. And it is, as a matter of fact, but it's not just one Y&R chat. I quickly realized that the story of the ranch being burnt down was really, really very much a story about Sharon and everything that was going on with her at the time. It was a really sticky story, but it was also a story that was happening during an executive shift at Y&R. Like, everybody was gone from Y&R. We got new brass. They came in, they burned down the ranch. We had this all of this craziness with Sharon. So there was a lot of unsettled feelings at around this time, and I just really got so intrigued by what was happening on the show at the time that the ranch burnt down that I had to go back, and like one episode wasn't enough, so I ended up having to dig into probably I don't know, 7, 8 different Y&R chat episodes to really get the full picture of why the ranch burned down. What was the setting of the time, and what also was the setting when the ranch was rebuilt. At what point did we switch into the horsey room? I really have gone back into the old Y&R chats and really pulled apart the orange of that story. And I'm compiling it into a special episode, which I'm hoping to have done by next week, just all about that ranch fire and what was going on. And I think it's really very fascinating. It's a great blast from the past, and it's actually really surprising the parallels that are going on the show right now with Sharon and her mental illness as the ranch is being rebuilt, to back in, I think it was 2012, Sharon's mental illness and the ranch burning down. So it's really so similar, and it just seems like a really great thing to dig back into at this particular time. So keep an eye out for that next week. As soon as I get that episode finished, I'll put a trailer for it into the podcast and YouTube feeds, and then it will be available at genoacitysoap.com if you want to treat yourself to a bonus Y&R chat episode. The story of the ranch fire is a story about Sharon and Adam. And it's really, really very fascinating. Let's talk about Sharon. And all of the crazy. Henry says Thursday's episode was just wild. I imagine that the downside of all this drama will be a major slowdown, but I hope not. Y&R, keep your foot on the gas. Yes, I know, Henry. It's like, how can they keep this up? But please keep this up. Tina Cole says, this story has taken off to new heights. Where is my popcorn for the next coming weeks? Because I am in for the ride. I wonder if this story will be resolved for Christmas or if some characters will be dealing with a nightmare before Christmas. Tina Cole, that's the thing. It feels like an end, but also a beginning, and that's what's so great about it. Stephen has a theory. He says, well, Sharon blacked out when Heather was killed, and now when Phyllis was driven off the road. Do Ian and Jordan have a subcutaneous device implanted in Sharon capable of turning her into a murderous automation? This happened in The Naked Gun. I love The Naked Gun and The Naked Gun reference, Stephen. Yeah, it could be. Russell says, so we know Sharon didn't kill Heather. She blacked out and found her dead. We know Sharon didn't send Phyllis the text message to meet her at her house. Sharon said she didn't remember a crash, so she might not have been the cause of the accident. What kind of witchcraft are Jordan and Ian using to accomplish all of this? Good question. How are they pulling it off? I am going to be tuned in next week to find out. But it most certainly absolves Sharon. And Sue W. says, it has seemed for some time now that something more than going off meds has caused this prolonged Sharon craziness. Something that will help exonerate her for the weeks of sneaks, lies, and cover-ups. Did Ian Moore do some kind of cult voodoo hypnosis on her? Apparently he's capable of anything, so sure, let's go with any outlandish explanation and outcome to get Unicorn Sharon back to normal. I'm tired of lunatic Sharon. Another thing about the original ranch fire from 2012, which I will be revealing in my special episode, is that's the beginning of Sharon's mental illness. That's the point where Sharon got diagnosed with her bipolar disorder. That's the point where she first started going on her medication. And gee, isn't it crazy that here we are, again, all these years later, rebuilding the ranch, and Sharon is again off that medication. It's just an incredible parallel. I can't wait for you guys to hear what I've been hearing. Calmness says, zero sympathy for Sharon. If it turns out that she didn't kill Heather, she's lying and manipulating anyone who will fall for it. It's great acting on Sharon Case's part, but I can't stand her character right now, and I can't wait for karma to come get her. I mean, no doubt about it. Even if Sharon didn't kill Heather, she still covered it up. T. Nicole says, I think Aunt Jordan has 9 lives. I'm sorry, but at this point, Jordan has escaped from prison twice now. I think she was safer locked away in Victor's dungeon. The chatter who asked last if Victor put a new dungeon in on the ranch might need to come in handy, since the real prison is just not cutting it. There is no prison that can hold Jordan. Oh, hey, now here's something real great from Daisy. Daisy says, I don't know how they got out. Someone must have helped them. I think they want revenge on those that they believe took everything away from them. They agreed to seek revenge for each other. So first they go after Sharon. Jordan took revenge on her as Ian believes she took Mariah away from him. Next, they may go after Victoria. Ian will take revenge on her as Jordan believes that she took Claire away from her. So with what's already happened with Sharon, I don't think Jordan or Ian cared about who got hurt or died. I think they took whatever opportunity there was to ensure that Sharon would never see the light of day again. First, since Jordan is a nurse, ding, 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 she may have found a way to change Sharon's medication so that her illness became worse, where her complete personality completely changed and she saw and heard things. And because of what Jordan gave her, she blacked out perhaps when her blood pressure soared, and when it looked like Sharon was guilty of murder even to Sharon, Jordan and Ian were overjoyed that they accomplished their goal, taking Sharon away from her family, particularly Mariah, and now they may feel confident enough to go after Victoria sooner than expected. Love it. Love, love, love it. That is so good. Especially, I mean, obviously, yeah, Jordan's a nurse. She would have some knowledge of some medication she could give to Sharon. So not only did they facilitate Sharon's blackout, but they've been facilitating her hallucinations too. Sharon said, I'm off my meds. The doctor's got me on some new meds. Jordan must have manipulated the doctor or switched the meds or something. Ding, ding, freaking ding, Daisy. That is good. I also like your theory that it's like, okay, they're going after Sharon because of Mariah, and next they're coming after Victoria because of Claire. I really should do something to inform viewers about Ian Ward, because he is connected to Mariah. He's connected to Nikki. He had some dealings with Adam. He burnt down a restaurant at Newman Tower. I mean, he's pretty notorious. Of course, a quick wiki might give you just enough of a little reminder. Ugh, drama. So much drama. And if that's all not enough drama for you, Sue W. has this suggestion. Okay, well, Stitch would have been a twisty one to throw into some wedding drama. He must still be out there somewhere obsessing over Abby. Yes, Sue W. This honestly is brilliant. Stitch would have been the perfect villain to bring back for Abby's wedding. Plus, why stop at a 2-villain twist when you could have 3? Wow. Just wow, what an incredible, incredible week. I had no idea what I was in for, but I'm ready to buckle my seatbelt for whatever is coming next. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you go to yrchat.com to leave your comments, not just today, but leave some comments throughout the week. This is going to be a big one, and I can't wait to hear what you guys are saying. Ooh! And I can't wait to be back next Sunday to have some more things to say myself. I love you guys, and I will see you next Sunday. Bye.